Hi there, nice bright and early in the morning type video. From Nick Dutch today. Just going straight into a private message. This one's curious. It says, you mentioned prayer in your videos. By this, do you mean you're praying to God? Do you believe in God? And do you worship Him? Do you speak to God through spirits and demons sometimes? Just curious, thanks. Okay, firstly, I see the word prayer as essentially meaning a altered state of consciousness type meditative, very mild form of meditation. Okay, it's a form of meditation technique done an awful lot traditionally in the Western world because of the history of Judeo-Christian ideas, and that's basically what it's all about. As far as do I pray to God, is it necessarily to have a God concept, or is it indeed necessarily something like that? I think that it depends upon accents, and it depends upon culture, and depends upon what a person's views are. I think the prayer itself can be not only to a assumed deity or a assumed being, it can also be just something more tranquil and like a flowing meditation using words at times. It can be the way in which you go through contemplation of complex theological type concepts. As far as do I believe in God, well, I've got a higher power concept of my own creation, I suppose, based upon a combination between Judeo-Christian and New Age ideas. And as far as do I worship Him, uh, well, I am involved in Orthodox regular religion, and I use those ceremonies themselves as if they're basically a form of like a meditation recording, basically, because you go to this same place every single week. You hear some good things, you think about yourself in a different way. It does you good to a certain extent, and therefore it's part of your own process of growth and dealing with issues and the stress of regular day-to-day life. The word worship, actually, the way I understand it, comes from another phrase which was worthship, which means bringing yourself up to a position of worthiness uh, for whatever this assumed concept is. So it's a way of using forms of ceremony and the rest of that kind of stuff to slowly and psychologically and subconsciously create a gentle form of personal transformation, which will take years and years and years and all that. And of course, that's just the way things are. But yeah, there is a worshipful component to my life. Fine, that's just the way I do things. And it's up to you, really. I mean, I am to the most part a deist anyway, which means that I build up my own concept of what I should be doing theologically or religiously based upon uh, my own understanding and guided by certain key concepts which are an attempt from history to point to this thing. But of course, all the stuff from history has been bogged down with the attitudes or the values of whoever the heck it was who wrote that particular book at the time or translated it, and so on and so forth. So you just got to keep your wits about you so that you can challenge the things which some other people would regard as being holy or the word of God, so to speak. Okay, there's no such thing as the written word of God. All right, there isn't. The Bible is called the Word of God because it is culturally central to certain groups of people, therefore set apart, culturally speaking, in some special way. Which is essentially the only real, that's the only real meaning of the word holy anyway, just set apart for some special purpose. And yeah, there are various traditions which say that you should say that this, that, and the other is the Word of God, when I think that's bullshit. I think God is like good intentions, sort of like being interpreted into what you're reading, and of course your understanding of what it is you're reading grows with time, and so there's no clear-cut real black and white. It's all contemplation, and there's no real fixed stuff there. Now your next question says, do you speak to God through spirits and demons sometimes? Basically, no. If there are, and this is a big if, okay, because all we've got is strange experiences and folk mythology to go by. And I've had strange experiences, yes. So there's lots of big question marks here. Okay, it says, do you speak to God through spirits or demons? No. I would see spirits or demons as being, or considered to be somehow separate to the God concept anyway. But that's, of course, just me talking about my own personal theological perspective. It doesn't mean that what I'm talking about is true. I mean, why would I believe in something that's not necessarily true? Because belief and knowledge are two different things. And on top of that, belief is to a certain extent chosen based upon the conceptualization of what you feel is good, right, or appropriate. And you change with the passage of time of your understanding of what this thing is, because you're growing up all the time. You know, it doesn't matter how old you are, you're still growing up. Okay? And that goes with everything that you read, that goes with everything that you participate in, every social group you're a part of, every subculture you're a part of, and so on and so forth. I mean, some subcultures are so subcultural that, you know, in my personal opinion, they go a bit insane, which is not very healthy. There are some other subcultures who are trying to be more mainstream, and I personally prefer to be more a part of more mainstream subcultures, despite the fact some of the things that I do could be regarded from some interpretations as being contrary to the mainstream, taking into account people's interpretation of what mainstream ideas really are. Which is, again, variable from person to person, group to group, and all the rest. So, you know, fuck that. You know, just try and fit in reasonably well and try and carry on growing and understanding life. It's like what I'm trying to do anyway. But, you know, prayer itself is a form of meditation. So, but it's like extended in a certain way with certain ideas thrown in. And all those ideas thrown in, they're there for you to help you to reach a cosmic consciousness type state of mind. I mean, the idea of God being creator of the universe, that does not actually hold water, does it? Considering what we know about the Big Bang, abiogenesis, development of life on the planet, evolution, and all that kind of stuff. The, you know, Genesis 1 is not literal. We can say that without the shadow of a doubt. But what is the purpose of the concept when you're in a meditative state or when you're in a hypnotic state? And that is there to help you to identify with, to connect with that state of mind, using the concept of this one thing or assumed thing, which is supposed to have created the universe. I mean, if there was a thing which did create the universe, it would have to be more mind-blowing than God alone knows what. So, like, it's a mind-blowing concept. It's like the Buddhist idea of being one with everything when you're in your meditation. Same thing, but it's being expressed through poetry, through mythology, through language, rather than through trying to express like the multi-petaled like lotus samhadi type flower, like crown chakra open type thing. But it's still the same idea, but expressed in language and mythology rather than in a more sort of like contemplative meditative way, despite the fact that the approach to this hypothetical, theoretical, whatever it is, concept is still very contemplative by its nature. All right? So I am, by my personal theological nature, a combination between Western ideas and Eastern ideas and pagan ideas and all sorts of stuff. Because essentially that's what it all is anyway. You know, all religions are basically the same if you take away the bullshit. You know, you take away the dogma, you take away all the... just all the bullshit, really. You know, it's all the same. And that is that there is a concept of there being something outside of the physical. All right. There are methodologies which over time help you to experience something associated with it, which involves prayer, meditation, ceremony, worship, all that kind of stuff, reading, contemplation, which I probably mentioned already before, but never mind, and all that stuff. Okay. So there is a concept. You don't know what it is. You use any form of mythology, including the life and times of Jesus Christ, as a parable for the nature of this thing, or what a culture assumes that this thing wants for them. All right, or indeed you use like meditation on the concept of Odin or whatever, just to try and connect with that particular concept. All right. So belief in God is one thing, natural science is another. Okay, so belief in God I'm seeing as being a thing which generates or can be used to help generate that like cosmic consciousness type state of mind. rather than necessarily saying, "Oh, there is a God, He exists." All right, because that would be a factual statement. That would be a hard truth claim, as some people would call it. I love that phrase. Okay, and therefore it would have to be, from a scientific standpoint, factually inaccurate. Okay, but to say such and such is a concept which stands for something mind-blowing, and in order to try and poetically express this thing as being mind-blowing, we're going to say it created the universe. That makes more sense. Okay, it's another route to samadhi, it's another route to spiritual experience, and something which is seriously transformative for a human being when you're in a meditative, hypnotic, altered state of consciousness, which you can bring about through practice over a long period of time. And of course, you change it and learn different forms of meditation and different ways of thinking and applying yourself mentally. There's also psychosomatic meditation. I still get digestive problems. I can use meditation to calm it down just a little once in a while. That's one of the things that I do. There's certain visualizations and breathing exercises and concentration exercises I do which can help my digestive system. Doesn't cure it, and if I'm feeling really nauseous, then I'm going to throw up anyway. It doesn't matter how much meditation I do, But I can still medicate to a small degree my body through healing ideas. And of course, some of the healing ideas associated with faith are, of course, therapeutic. Okay? And life is a stressful piece of crap anyway. Especially you got issues with this, that, and the other, family problems, money problems, problems with your employers or agencies like Keen.com, who still fucked with me and still owe me over £1,100. All the stuff that goes with life. You got your bills to pay. You got your social reputation to maintain. You got various tasks to do for the various social groups you're a part of. You got to fit that into your life somehow. And all this stuff, as well as dealing with issues of your health, your dental appointments. I know it's crazy. Okay, some people spend lots of money to be shouted at by a dominant woman. Yeah, I just go to the NHS dentist and I get the same treatment and I get the pain as well. No sexual pleasure, just pain and being shouted at by a dominant woman. Oh God, I don't even know why I said that just now. Oh right, it really is too early. I've got to get more tea on the go. I'm sorry about that. But okay, so that's my attitude towards God and prayer and religion and that sort of stuff. Okay, like it, hate it, I don't care. It's my opinion, and there will be people out there who will try and misconstrue it and say it's logically inconsistent or something like that. I don't know, but all of us humans are just people who are just trying to understand the world through their own terms, and so there will be differences of opinion between you and me. All right. And I think the thing to do is just to chill, okay? Just chill about that. We can have as many internet disagreements as we like, but that wouldn't necessarily help us when there is some kind of reason behind why someone has a point of view. And one of the purposes of life is to try and, I suppose, understand where other people are coming from and why they're there, and therefore to get more of a feeling of the various the various memes and all the rest of that, and psychological and political forces which are forces of nature going through the world right now. That was a bit more intellectual and in-depth than I had hoped to have at Zippity Squat in the morning. But either way, thank you very much for listening. Look after yourself, and God bless. God and or goddess and or none of the above bless, or saints bless, or angels bless, or higher power bless, or none of the above bless, or Dawkins bless for those of you out there who are atheist, fundamentalist, literalist scum. Whatever. Chillax.